Hey everybody, Adam Savage in Prop Stores Archives in London with Tim. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. We are near a piece of costume I never thought I would see.
Me too.
Really? This is one of your favorites?
This is absolutely one of my favorites.
Oh,
I mean,
dude.
I can't even begin to describe how magnificent this thing is. Yeah.
Tell me what
So
it
here
is.
we've actually got two lots from our auction. We've got Clint Eastwood's shirt and Clint Eastwood's duster from The Good, the Bad and the Ugly.
The shirt of the duster from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. There's something so amazing about seeing it in person because there's no way it can be as big as it is in my head. Do you have that feeling?
No, I can't even, the emotions when this thing surfaced, this was lost, presumed lost for 60 years. Nobody knew where it was. I think the general, because Clint Eastwood kept his poncho.
Right.
And I think the general feeling was that maybe those other costume components from earlier in the film were with him as well, but clearly not. These were on a costume rail at Peruzzi, a costume house in Rome.
Okay, and they rent out costumes
yeah,
to
they
productions?
do. We visited them and we set them loose looking for items from films they'd worked on. Yeah. And they literally found these on rails. In fact, the coat, the duster, was on a rail ready to go out to another Western, and they pulled it off that rail.
To be rented to another
It's just
production.
going to go, yeah, these have probably been rented numerous times since The Good, the Bad and the Ugly.
So, so this is in maybe a whole bunch of other movies from a whole bunch of other different countries.
Yeah, I'm kind of, it never crossed my mind that, you know, there were hundreds of spaghetti westerns, so I don't know how many may have featured these costumes again.
The other thing is, and I've seen a Clint Eastwood costume before. Again, he looms so large in my consciousness and cultural consciousness, and I always think of him as he's got to be like 6'3", 6'4". I'm not sure that he's short, but he is slight.
Yeah, he's very thin, and also of note is that the sleeves are actually kind of too short. And there's a very good shot when Blondie goes to rescue Tuco from the first hanging. You can see him in the background, and he's standing, and he puts his arms down, and the sleeves are just short. It's just,
I wonder why.
Maybe it's a character thing where he's taking the coat off somebody else in the, whatever his character story is. I've no idea, but yeah, everything else just matches up just beautifully.
Now, I'm curious about the quote matching up part. What did you guys do to authenticate this?
So it's just like any other film. You know, we are freeze framing.
Little details.
Yeah, and just trying to, and we can't find any differences on, you know, the buttons, the seams. There's even something on the back where
is it? So it was pointed out to me that seam break is common to the coats. Of the film.
Well, yeah. I mean, he would have probably had 2 or 3 dusters, you know, in various states of distress through the movie. Yeah. But even the non-lining of this, although it does, when you get the close up, it looks like a different coat.
Right.
But the trait is still there. Yeah, that trait is still there.
And then you've got all these horizontal stitches on this collar, which is not common.
Yeah, and you can see those on screen. You see, you know, it's the 2 buttons. See, everything's in right. It's just remarkable that it hasn't been altered since 1966.
No, and no one's shot a movie in which the person wearing this coat was killed because there's no blood on it.
There's no blood or bullet holes. Yeah,
no stage dirt. It's in incredible condition, and then the shirt too.
Yeah, I mean, it's very distinctive. In fact, there's a very famous still of Clint Eastwood with a noose around his neck in the hotel room, and it actually looks blue in that shot, you know. But that's kind of the only scene where it looks blue. When you see him in the desert later on, it's clearly black, and this pattern is very, very distinctive. It's unique, and it's. He wears this costume for the first hour or so of the movie. I mean,
have you gone back and watched it?
I have actually. I watched it again recently, and that wasn't a tough task.
No, I imagine. A piece this iconic. I know you guys handle really rare stuff all the time, but a piece this iconic has to be a kind of a rarity for you.
Yeah, and for me personally, because I'm a huge Clint Eastwood fan, this resonates almost like no other thing we've had here. I mean, there's some great stuff in the auction, but for me personally, the duster is there were dusters in films before Sergio Leone put Clint Eastwood in this one, but since then it's kind of become a staple. And Sir Christopher Frayling said that he considers the duster a cowboy's armor, which I thought was a really interesting way to describe a duster. And
that's lovely. I'm also surprised at how short it is. Right? I always think of a duster as going all the way to the ground.
Yeah, again, but you see in that famous opening scene where he walks towards the bounty hunters that he takes out, you can see it short, it's just by his knees. And
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is the 3rd film in his Western trilogy, starting with Fistful of Dollars, Few Dollars More, which are Yojimbo and Sanjuro by Kurosawa, respectively, right?
Yep.
And then Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is not. It's not a Kurosawa
No.
film. It's like a prequel to maybe some of the Kurosawa films.
It is, and not only that, it is actually a prequel to that trilogy because he starts off in this costume and ends up in the poncho that you see him in the first two movies. So, yeah, I mean, it is a unique trilogy for me in that each film, the first one is fantastic. In fact, it has Clint's finest scene, in my opinion. I don't think it's nice you laughing scene. I still think Clint was never better than that scene. But each film got better and bigger, and I don't think there's any other trilogy where that has happened.
I think that you might be right about that. There's lots of sequels that are as good or better than their predecessors, but a third film?
Yeah, for them to all get better as they go.
No.
Yeah.
Tim, it is such a beautiful piece. Do you guys ever, like, when you get one of these in, you each try putting it on?
I can't possibly comment on that.
And we are joined by a pair of Richard Burtons. Is that
fantastic? Yeah, these are two amazing costumes from Cleopatra, 1963, and I stress the date because these do not look like they've come from 1963.
1963. So these are 4 years older than me. I have never seen old costumes in this condition. These look almost brand new.
They're phenomenal. I think to be fair to the costume house from whom these came, which is Peruzzi in Rome, I think they ring-fenced these very early on because they're so precious, so beautiful. I think they were very careful with them and they looked after them. But these are still getting on for 70 years old.
No, and I walked through the Debbie Reynolds collection when that auction was happening and saw some amazing pieces from Hollywood's history from this time and long before. Nothing looked this good. This looks like, I mean, I've seen some of Janty Yates' Gladiator armor from the first Gladiator, and it doesn't look this new.
No, this does look incredible, and obviously so much is said about the costumes from Cleopatra. You know,
they won an Academy Award.
Yeah, Irene Sharaff won the Academy Award. Elizabeth Taylor, all those 65 costume changes or whatever it was.
They're
most
so
expensive
ludicrous
movie.
and amazing. It was the most
expensive movie ever made, and obviously some of that money went into the costumes.
And I wanted to talk about this process because the appliques on both of these costumes are actually metal.
Yes.
And that's a difference from modern costumes where there'd be a urethane or even a foam sometimes.
And also real leather. I mean, this is real leather too. I mean, that's
it's a molded leather armor. They really went there. So I recently bought a helmet off of eBay from a 60s Hollywood production, and it had metalwork like this. And I talked about it on the channel, what I thought it was, and then the fans instructed me that it's a process called electroforming. And it was really common in Hollywood at this time. Mm-hmm. And it was what you did was you took a piece you wanted to electroform and you dusted it with a conductive material, either graphite or you sprayed it with a conductive paint. And then you put it in a chemical bath and deposed metal ions on it, basically electroplating. But instead of electroplating over something, you're electroplating a form that you'll pull off from the object you're molding. And so you were able to make repeats of things, and then they would attach them to these costumes. And I did a little flashlight search. We'll get it in B-roll of one of these pieces. You can see they're very thin. They're they're just shells of metal. I just can't believe how good they look. It is like... Even when you sequester something for 70 years, I can see that these were held in a really nice temperature-controlled environment.
Yeah, they've been very well looked after, but it's even things like the feathers on the helmet. I mean,
those are original.
Yeah, I mean, how can they have survived this time? Cow. It's incredible, and it's just such a beautiful. Both of them are beautiful display pieces.
Now, and also. Within the costuming, Elizabeth Taylor's costumes have a very tenuous connection to history. However, these two costumes have a much more direct connection to history. They're much more historically accurate than some of Cleopatra's dresses.
For sure.
And where in the movie are these costumes?
So this one you see in the Battle of Actium, and this one you see in the Defense of Egypt scenes where Roddy McDowall gets involved, both scenes.
These must surprise you. Like even with all the stuff that you've seen, these have to be sort of they have to be standouts.
Oh no, for sure. No, we've commented lots of conversations here about these that normally from a costume house, costumes are recycled, they're changed, they go onto other films, countless films, and over that period, they probably would have worn out by now. They would have used and used and used and been
Yeah.
chucked away. These have been clearly put aside and kept. And from that era to find costumes of this quality in this condition really it's a bit special.
It's like the last person to wear these absolutely was Richard Burton.
Incredible.
That's what it feels like. I mean,
his name's on the inside of labeled on the inside of these as well.
His name is?
Yeah, on both costumes.
Oh, man. But you do have some of Cleopatra's dresses in the auction.
We do. I mean, there's a nice selection of Elizabeth Taylor's dresses as well, and they are exquisite as well. They're quite beautiful.
I just felt more qualified to talk about these.
Yeah.
And the auction is upcoming.
It is November the 14th to the 17th, and bidding is online now, propstore.com.
And if you get these, you're just going to have to convince people that they're old. You're just going to have to tell them that they're from 1963, and they will not believe you.
Yep.
Tim, they are such magnificent pieces. Just incredible.
Thank you guys so much for watching that video. We have some brand new merch available at the store. A dog's age ago, I mean like 2018, 2019, this wonderful graphic designer named Brian Otterer reached out to us and sent us some stickers. He has a design firm called Dash 3 Dots, and we loved his stickers so much we wanted to sell them on the merch store. Well, he updated them with our new logo, and we've got Adam in the Martian spacesuit sticker. We've got Adam in the shuttle suit sticker. We've got Adam in the Apollo suit sticker. And my personal favorite, Adam in the alien spacesuit sticker. Get yours now, tested-store.com. Hey!